Welcome back to another
Definitely not.
episode of Going For It. We are here with the man, the myth, the legend, the rapper, commonly known as Lil Doodles, Mike Spillane, subbing in here from Mike Thomas and Craig Brooks. So we have his expertise. We are going to break down two more 1 o'clock games because the 4 o'clock game slate, not great again. Nothing really worth kind of speaking about. They all look like they're going to kind of be blowouts. So we pulled two 1 o'clock games that are going to be competitive, and we are going to start first with Denver versus Chicago, the Kakadudu Bowl, the toilet bowl, the whatever you want to call it. It is going to be a game that is not going to be widely viewed unless you are in Chicago or Denver.
Yep,
It's
that's
just
fair.
kind of how that's going
That's
to
fair.
go.
Yeah, and this is a game
Uh,
that oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you what you think about these games. So
Yeah,
please continue.
this game is one that is going to be not fun. Like I was saying right before we started, this is going to be the suck bowl. Like two teams that one team's coming off a 31-point loss, the other team is coming off a 50-point loss. Which that's weird to say
That's so
in the
dumb to say. It's so
like,
dumb to say.
and it's one of those things that like legitimately you're going to have GMs and coaches coaching for their jobs in week 4. Like that's what this game is going to be. GMs and coaches really going to be fighting to stay relevant and with their team. I for one am biased in rooting for Chicago to do well, and that's because in my money league, I'm starting Justin Fields as my quarterback. Although
DJ Moore.
I did snag CJ Stroud as a backup because he's actually been kind of studly. So I have the ability to make the switch, but I'm still holding on to hope that the run game of Justin Fields is going to keep him in an elevated position as a starting caliber quarterback in fantasy. But dude, this game is just it's going to be so not fun. Like that's the only way that I can describe it. Is because you're going to be watching two desperate franchises fighting with each other to be better. And I don't see either one of them progressing. Like both of them have some decent defensive parts, and both of them have some decent offensive
Some
weapons that
decent.
can't do anything. Like so, I don't know. I'm just not. I'm just not excited about this game. But give me Chicago. Like,
Yeah, I mean, this game is one that I think at the beginning of the season, I mean, I know at the beginning of the season, the odds makers were probably more excited for. You know, the Bears were looked at as a team that was going to take over in the South, and Denver looked like they were going to be competitive, and Denver at times has looked worse than Vegas, which is a very hard thing to do. And neither of them have looked anywhere near as bad as Arizona, and they both have significantly more talent than that team. Um, but I think just offensively, Denver's more put together than Chicago. Russ is cooking with Cortland Sutton. Uh, he's got Jerry Jeudy still. There's some pieces there. Javonte Williams is a decent running back. I think Denver is going to squeak this one out, but I don't even know if I want Red Zone to like go to this game when I watch on Sunday. Like I don't know that I want any updates from this game. I'm gonna go Denver, and I'm gonna say Denver's gonna win 24-17.
I didn't give a score. Give me Chicago. Oof. 27 26 because
Oh,
27-26 because the Denver Broncos are going to go for 2 to try and win it at the end of the game. They're going to get stopped.
I love that. I as if DJ Moore has a good game, I'll be happy. I don't know that he's going to against Patrick Surtain, but you know, whatever.
I
I can
need,
cross my fingers.
yeah, I need Justin Fields to have a good game and maybe Khalil Herbert to have a good game
Now you're
because
getting greedy.
well, no. In my non-money league, Austin Eckler's been out, and I got basically just mollywopped the past 2 weeks because I had no running backs because I lost J.K. Dobbins week 1, and then Austin Eckler's been out for 2 since week 1. So I traded to get Khalil Herbert into the team, and I'm just praying that Kareem Hunt wins the starting job soon in Cleveland. So that way, I
Jeez.
at least have a couple more options at running back. Because right now that's a 14-man league too, so I couldn't even try and get like Chain or anything like that from Miami
Gross.
because of the fact that he's a 14-man league. He's already on a bench
Yeah,
somewhere.
he's gone. He's gone.
It's funny. He was on the bench of the guy that I was playing,
Oh
who
man.
also who also had Keenan Allen, which
Ooh.
last week
Ugh.
just literally no lube.
Yeah, you
Like
played Keenan Allen in 2 leagues last week. I'm so sorry.
very yes, it was not cool.
Yeah, that was a bummer. I was gonna try and trade for him, but there's no way I'm getting him. There's no way that guy gives him up.
No.
Anyway, we're gonna pivot to you know what? Let's do X factors in this game because I like that. The X factor I'm picking in Denver is going to be Patrick Surtain. If he can bounce back from that Tyreek Hill performance, if he locks down DJ Moore. I don't know that Justin Fields throws to anyone else, so I'm gonna say that he's my X factor for Denver. And for Chicago, my X factor for them is going to be Justin Fields. I think if he puts it together and he says fuck it like he was supposed to say in Kansas City, and he runs the ball well and throws off of that, I think he's going to do very well. If he doesn't do that and continues to miss open players from the pocket, just bad things. Ultimately, bad things.
Yeah, for my X factors for this game, it's literally just both the quarterbacks. It's Russ, it's Justin Fields, who can get themselves poised to have a better performance out of the two of them. They both need to be better than they were last week. They both need to be better than they've been the majority of the season. Who's going to be the one that takes that step forward and has that great performance worthy of winning a football game? If not, we're looking at our first tie of the year. Like,
Yeah, I think I put in the outline. I was like, someone. No, it was the Minnesota Carolina game. I said someone will probably have a win after this game. Probably. Now we'll talk about the game that'll be way more exciting, way more fun. Miami versus Buffalo. I know we've talked about Miami a whole bunch on this pod. And ironically enough, Craig has not been a big part of that as a Miami fan, but you have to talk about them. You have to talk about a team that just hung 70 points on another NFL team in a week where they honestly they could have done more. If they would have left Tua out there instead of Mike White, like they
they
could have
should have done more. They should have.
dying on this hill.
They should have
It would
broke
have been
the
cool to see
record.
the record.
They
It
should
would
have
have been
broke.
cool to
They
see it.
had the opportunity to do it, and he chose not to, out of respect for Sean Payton. And honestly, that's the last thing I expected from a guy who's been caught vaping on the fucking sideline.
Well, and the thing is, I like McDaniel too because it definitely felt like a little bit of a fuck you to Denver, and then he like at the end he was like like a Sour Patch Kid. He was sour and then he was sweet because they did not let him interview for, and he like started out as like a ball boy there. Like I think his
Yeah.
dad coached there or something,
Mm-hmm.
and they did not interview him for their head coaching position. And I think they like dumped on Tua. They were like, that guy fucking sucks. And then Tua went like 23 of 26 or something for, a bajillion yards, 2 touchdowns, and like the running backs went off. Um, so I think that that's kind of funny. I respect it. Like step on his neck. I don't give a shit. But I'm very interested to see Buffalo's defense is very aggressive. They look like against Washington that they got their shit together, but I want to add the caveat that Washington is not good.
No, no.
Not a good
Sam
team.
Howell is the only quarterback that's in really the conversation right now of Zach Wilson for like who stinks the most.
Who's
Like
the most
he's
poopy?
he's up there. Yeah, because I think it was what 37-3 Buffalo beat Washington, like
Something
something
like
really
that.
awful like that.
Yeah.
So there's the likelihood that these are teams coming two of the teams coming off the best results this past week, and then the Chiefs in third. Like so this is a game that is definitely going to really be the test of are the Dolphins legit, are the Bills legit? Who's more realistically, who's in a window to potentially make a Super Bowl run right now? And that's one of the things I said in the pick'em is I think that the Bills are towards the end of their window, and the Dolphins are just starting their window. Um, Especially with the
The
performance that the Dolphins just put in. Like,
the thing about the Bills is that they have the number one guy. They have Diggs, but he's going to be 31, I believe, this year. Or
yeah.
he just
Mhm.
turned 30 or something like that. This is typically when you see a decline from that kind of receiver. They have to choose whether or not they're going to re-sign Gabe Davis, who is a free agent this year. They have Dawson Knox and Kincaid. I don't
Yeah.
remember
Dalton
his.
Kincaid, the rookie tight end. Yeah.
Yeah, so they have both of those guys, which is great. You have two very good tight ends, both catch passes, both block fairly well, but they don't have any wide receiver depth behind those guys. They have
Yeah.
no wide receiver depth behind Diggs and Davis. And like I honestly think Davis is probably your best suited in the NFL as like a number 3, not a number 2. So it feels like Buffalo's missing some pieces, and Miami has two number one receivers, two very good running backs, a quarterback that's going to be in the conversation for MVP and might actually win MVP this year. Uh, the thing ultimately, because I think Josh Allen makes more, he makes bigger throws than Tua. Um, so they're able to score quicker. The thing that I think is going to be the big difference in this game is just decision making, and Tua's decision making this season has been spot on. It's been
Perfect.
excellent.
Yeah.
Josh Allen has still shown me that he is willing to chuck it up and see what happens. And I don't know that you beat this version of Miami if you're getting picked off twice. If you get picked off once and lose a fumble, if you turn the ball over multiple times against this team, I don't know that you're able to beat them.
The only
I don't know. What
positive
do you think about that?
the only positive that you really have right now with Josh Allen in that regard is that Jalen Ramsey is not back with the Dolphins yet.
Oh my
If
god, he could
Jalen Ramsey was
kick it.
back with the Dolphins right now and Josh Allen is still willing to make those chuck up mistakes, especially like he did at the Jets opening weekend, um, it's going to be a long season for the Bills because they're going to have to try and reconcile like what do they want to do from here. Like Josh Allen has to be better than this for the amount of money that you guys pay the guy. So it's definitely one of those things that I like Josh Allen a lot. I really do, but he's got a little bit of that Brett Favre in him, where he's just like hug it, chuck it football, and just slings the thing. So he has to be better. That much is true, and he has to prove that. And until he proves that, like I pick the Dolphins this week. I just think that they're just so explosive. And for me, the X factor for them is a returning Jalen Waddle. Like Jalen Waddle's practicing this week. He's expected to be back, and he's probably going to go ahead and take a look at the fact that Robbie fucking Chosen got a 60-yard touchdown from Mike White, and he's like, man, I could have just been doing numbers against the Broncos. And former teammate Pat Surtain, like, could have been doing bars. Like, so Jalen Waddle's my X factor on that side of the ball. And then as far as X factor for the Bills, I'm actually going to go with the guy that you mentioned, is Gabe Davis. I like Gabe Davis a lot, being the fact that he's a UCF boy and I'm a UCF guy. I really like his game, but the thing that bothers me the most about him is he had every opportunity to take the mantle of being an elite number 2 wide receiver, and he never has. He had the ability, he had the hype, and then it's just been kind of like silly mistakes, bad situations. Maybe he's not getting targeted enough. Isaiah McKenzie came in, and you're right, he's kind of fitting into more being like, oh, he's a really great 3 option. Um, I know that he still has the ability because he's not old, he's still a young guy. Not Mike Thomas young, but like, he's still a young guy. Um,
Right.
and I hope that he kind of takes the opportunity and realizes that he needs to be that guy for this team now, and becomes like a T Higgins kind of person where he's that elite number 2. So I'm hoping that this could be a game where something like that could happen.
And what's your score prediction?
This is not something that's right. The score prediction, we didn't predict
1
that.
million to less than 1 million.
No, it's go ahead. I'm taking the Dolphins in this game, but it's going to be a close one because both teams are going to score, and this is going to be a fun one. Give me the Dolphins 34-31.
Okay.
High
All
scoring
right.
game. It's going to be entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited about this game. I honestly, at this juncture, so we did our quarterback rankings in the summer to be able to like get our feet wet with football. For those of you that don't know, we have started this podcast like 4 or 5 different times, but that was one of the things that we did, just to kind of get our feet wet back recording and stuff like that. And I had Josh Allen as, I believe, our number 3 quarterback, and I think Tua was like 11 or something like that. At this moment this week, I would absolutely take Tua over Josh Allen.
Fair.
Unequivocally, without a doubt, I would put him ahead of Josh Allen in my quarterback rankings because everything that made me doubt Tua, he has shown this season that he is no longer he's moved past that. He knows how to fall. He's getting the ball out quicker. He's more aware of the pass rush. He knows his limitations. Like, I don't think I've seen him underthrow Tyreek this year because he's getting the ball out faster. That was one of the big things last year is Tyreek was catching balls behind him and he was having to turn. This year I haven't seen that as much. Tua's getting it out, he's getting it on him, he's putting it in a spot where he can continue to run and be the yak god that he is. Um Tua has launched himself into top 3 conversation for me.
Yeah.
For sure top 5, solidified in the top 5. There, I did see a reel that a guy said that he would take 2 over Patrick Mahomes, and I just want to say to that guy, you are fucking dumb. Patrick Mahomes is unequivocally a better quarterback than Tua. I don't care what Tua is doing. Like Patty Mahomes, if Patrick Mahomes is on this version of the Dolphins, this team can literally not be stopped. It is literally impossible to stop them. There's no victory for anyone else. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But
I
with
agree. I agree with you on everything you just said.
with that all being said, a long way to get around. I am also taking Miami in this game. I think that this is a statement win for them, and I think they're going to treat it that way. Um, I do think Buffalo is going to put up more of a fight than Denver did, but I am taking Miami. Uh, I'm going to say 45, Buffalo 28. I
Wow.
do not think it will be close.
Wow. We are very
And
different there.
yes, the thing is, I think Miami feels like they have something to prove, and there is no one in Buffalo's secondary that is good as Patrick Surtain, and they could not contain Tyreek. They could not contain Achan. They could not contain Mostert. They couldn't do any of that stuff. This team knows how to get these guys open, and they did it all without Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle is back now,
Yeah.
so I don't know that they're without Vaughn and that intense pressure that they're going to face. I don't know that they're going to be able to rattle Tua enough to to make a big difference. My X factors in
Yeah.
this game. I'm going to say Josh Allen on the Buffalo side. I feel like it's a little bit of a cop out to take the quarterbacks again, but like his decision making is really a big sticking point for me and a big reason why I think they're not going to score as much as the Dolphins. And I'm going to copy you for the Dolphins. I'm going to say Jalen Waddle. I think he saw the boys in a track meet last week and is upset that he didn't get his. And I think this week he's going to try and get his. I think he's going to try and burn some people, get some tutties. That is good for my fantasy team, so I'm super okay with it. Um, but yeah, that's my X factor. I like Miami here. I look at that team and I just don't know who can beat them right now. I just don't know
Yeah.
who's got the horses to do it.
No, there's an old like not old, but there's like an American soccer chant that we like make jokes of all the time where it's when a player is hot, we just say like, so and so's on fire, your defense is terrified. That's really right now Tua. Like Tua's on fire, your defense should be terrified. Like because of the fact that right now like you said, his decision making has been elite. He started the game with 17 straight completions last week.
His
And
accuracy is
realistically,
next level too this
didn't
year. His
even didn't
accuracy is
even
dumb.
didn't even need to come in the second half, and I'm surprised that they even let him play through the third quarter. Like I was shout out to my neighbors. They invited me to come over and I watched the game with my new neighbors who are Dolphins fans, and they had their Dolphins fan friends over. And I'm sitting there as a New York Giants fan, like, oh wow, scoring points. This is crazy. You guys are allowed to do
That's
that?
so cool.
Like, I didn't know that that was legal. But it was one of those things where like they're like, I've never seen a Dolphins team this good in my lifetime. And I was like, you should be enjoying the crap out of everything that you have right now. And then, but my neighbor, his big point was our season doesn't start until week 4 because the Bills is a test. If we can beat the Bills, then I'll know this team is legit. So
Yeah,
that's
they
why I
haven't
kind of
beat
like
the
this
Bills in
half.
Buffalo in 7 years.
That's why I kind of look at this. I'm like, this is such a big moment for that franchise to prove that they are here. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and I think honestly, out of all of it, I think Mike McDaniel, obviously the brain child of all of this. I think he's obviously the front runner for Coach of the Year,
Yeah.
and dude just sees the game different. He just sees the game different. I think there's going to be a lot of I referenced this on our last podcast, and I'll say this before we wrap up our Sunday matinee game preview. Um, we are already as the Giants, we are already taking concepts from Mike McDaniel and what he's doing with Tyreek Hill and using it towards Jalen Hyatt, like putting him in motion before the snap to give him essentially that like CFL like run off of the line so that he avoids press coverage and he's already in motion. Like that is something that Tyreek was doing 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, no, 2 weeks ago, and the Giants immediately implemented against Arizona, and like already paying dividends. Something that apparently no one else thought to do, but it's like massive and awesome, and it's game changing, and like just all the credit to Mike McDaniel, and like I can't wait to see where this team ends up because they are just so much fun to watch. They are so electric, and they got some horses, man. They got some horses in that stable.
Damn right.
So, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We greatly appreciate it. Do us a personal favor and like, comment, and subscribe. Do that down below. It helps us out. We just hit 20 subs, which is very exciting for a brand new podcast that's only been going for a couple of months. We are generating this content after full work days for you guys so that you have something to listen to and hopefully enjoy. But yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you think down below. And if there's anything you want us to talk about, we appreciate you. We appreciate Mike for coming and hanging out this evening and recording
Always.
when everybody else had some stuff going down. But thank you guys so much. We will see you all back here next time.